about music. Today it's actually a very big part of our lives, but in the past it wasn't. It went from record players to 8-track to cassette tapes to iPods, and now it's on the internet. So it's basically worldwide, and you can get any music video, any song you want. And it influences everyone's lives from young children to the old people today. So I don't know what else to say.
The first artist we're going to talk about is Lady Gaga. She's really influential in our culture today. She has really influenced music because she has taken many risks in her genre and style. She also influences fashion because she has a lot of individualism and she promotes that.
Second, we're going to talk about is more of a conglomerate of artists. It was in the early to mid-90s, and it's one of the most famous revolutions in music, known as the grunge movement, which was kind of a teenage revolution for young adults and teenagers. Pretty much we all just found ourselves in music, and it was all about expressing yourself, which ended up kind of some sexual and clothing and fashion, so it got really popular that way. Such bands were Nirvana and Pearl Jam, and they actually influenced a lot of different music, as Lady Gaga came out of that, and some other artists came out of that. Without that different expressions that they developed, we probably wouldn't have the music that we do today.
And the artist that I'd like to talk about is Jimi Hendrix, who's probably one of the most influential musicians for me, because he's probably one of the reasons I even picked up a guitar as a musician. And one thing about Jimi Hendrix that people might not know is they think that he was from the UK, but he actually is American, and he actually started playing in clubs in New York City with B.B. King and other jazz musicians, and really didn't get much recognition here in the States, so he flew over to England and kind of joined with the psychedelic movement over there. And by the time he came back, he played one of his most biggest concerts. It was at the Monterey Pop Festival in California. He played with artists that were really popular at the time, like Jefferson Airplane, Otis Redding, and pretty much just blew them off the stage with his comeback. If you've probably seen his video is kind of like an epic video where he lights his guitar on fire. That was at that show, and so he got very popular through playing festivals like that. A lot of musicians didn't want to play after him, and he actually ended up headlining Woodstock. He was supposed to headline, but what happened there was rain delays and some administrative problems. He got pushed back to a fourth day, so he played, the day after, and by that time the crowd that was at once close to 500,000 people dwindled down to about 70,000 to see him play. And at that show, that's when he played his famous Star Spangled Banner. And that was kind of like a turning point in rock and roll. I mean, he's noted as being a god of guitar, and you definitely can see that with his improvisational jamming and the way he played around with sound effects on his guitar were revolutionary at the time and never been